These days it would be very easy to spend up to around £35,000 or more on a large MPV and still only end up with space for 7 people. That may be all you want, of course, but even so, you might still be tempted by the thought that much the same money could buy you a smart car-like people carrier with room for up to 9. That's the proposition on offer from this model, Toyota's Proace Verso. As you'd expect, all the Euro 6 engines on offer in the Proace Verso are diesels, and if your needs are mainly based around lighter people carrying duties and short distance urban work, then the entry-level 118 brake horsepower 1.5 litre diesel unit may well be quite sufficient. For heavier payloads and longer journeys, however, you'll be needing the 2-litre diesel engine we're trying here, which gives you a lot more pulling power and is available with either 148 or 174 horsepower, the most powerful unit mated to the brand's efficient 8AT auto transmission. Otherwise, you'll be using a 6-speed manual. What will you notice once you're properly on the move? Well, yes, it's based on a van, but the current generation of medium-range vans actually handle pretty well, so this MPV might well surprise you with the way it responds through the bends. Plus, this model feels quite manoeuvrable. Testers who'd found the sheer size of some other big MPVs in this segment a little daunting when dealing with narrow country lanes and squeezing through gaps in the traffic were, we found, much more easily able to acclimatise to a Proace Verso. This model's frontal design firmly identifies it as a modern Toyota, with an upper grille that extends smoothly into the angled headlamp units and a large trapezoidal lower grille surrounded by silver trimming, an aperture that aims to emphasise the car's width and solidity. There are 3 Proace Verso body sizes: compact, medium and long. In terms of body length, you're talking around 4.6, 5 metres or 5.3 metres, depending on the variant that you choose. So either way, you're going to need a very long garage. Let's take a look inside up front. The dashboard design features clear analogue dials and ergonomic switchgear, and there's excellent all-round visibility from the elevated SUV-like driving position. The rather small 7-inch Pro Touch centre dash infotainment screen is borrowed from PSA, though Toyota has been allowed to put its own blue background on the various screen options. The Combi and Shuttle models have a 2-person front passenger seat to achieve their 9-seat capacity. Otherwise, you get the 2 separate chairs that we have here, each complete with an armrest. Let's take a look in the rear. All variants get 3 seats in this middle row, and they slide forward and back in a 60-40 split, plus the seat backs recline. If you've specified the optional premium pack or gone for a top VIP model, you'll get this Skyview panoramic roof with its 2 glass overhead panels and overhead vents. There are 4, and overhead climate controls along with overhead reading lights. Getting into the very rear requires you to push the seat base forward, then retract the seat back forward. How many seats you get in the third row will depend on the spec you've chosen. Normally, as in this mid-range family model, there'll be 3 seats back here, but in the top VIP variant, there are just 2. Once in the third row, there's far more space than you get in a conventional large Galaxy or Chiron-style 7-seat MPV. The van-based approach really pays dividends here in terms of both leg and headroom. To increase legroom, you can use these red lower tabs to slide the seats ahead of you forward and back. Or if you're broader back, the second row seats can be taken from their lower runners, then turned around to face those in the rear, facilitating impromptu business conferences on the move. Let's finish with a look at luggage capacity. Now, if you'd forgotten that this was a van-based MPV, you're reminded of the fact when you come to raise this vast tailgate. Even with all the 3 seating rows upright like this, there's quite a lot of luggage space back here in this medium-length model, between 603 and 798 litres, depending on the positioning of the third-row chairs. You push the third-row seats forward by pulling on these 2 red tabs and fold the seat backs using these black levers. Do that in this medium-length model and you can increase your luggage capacity to as much as 1,000 litres or 1,750 litres with the second-row seat backs folded too. Take out the second and third row seats entirely and your Proace Verso could conceivably function as some kind of small removal van. In the lengthiest long spec model, as much as 4,900 litres of space could be freed up if you only retained the front 2 chairs. On to the WLTP efficiency figures. The base 118 brake horsepower 1.5 litre diesel engine returns up to 44.1 miles to the gallon on the combined cycle and up to 169 grams per kilometre of CO2. Go for the 2 litre 148 brake horsepower diesel unit and the figures don't fall too far. Expect up to 39.8 miles to the gallon and 185 grams per kilometre. At the top of the range, the 174 horsepower diesel variant with its 8-speed auto transmission manages up to 38.7 miles to the gallon and up to 190 grams per kilometre of CO2. This Proace Verso might not have all the fancy electronic extras of its Peugeot Traveller and Citroën Space Tourer design stablemates, but it's likely that many family and business buyers won't care very much about that. We think they'll value this Toyota's affordable pricing and straightforward approach that includes slightly more economic operating costs and a lengthy 5-year, 100,000-mile warranty. If you've regular business clients to carry or your own private parking bay at the maternity unit, it might just be everything you really need.